everyone. Welcome to this exciting session. In this video, we are going to explore the output of a basic real estate website. This is perfect for beginners who want to start creating beautiful websites using React and Bootstrap. By the end of this tutorial, you'll understand how to build a complete responsive front-end website and also get an idea of how to take it to an advanced level in the future. So let's get started. First, create your new folder. Name it something like My Website. Drag and drop the folder into VS Code. Now your VS Code will open with that folder. In VS Code, go to the top menu Terminal, New Terminal. In the terminal, type this command and press enter. npm create white at latest. It will ask project name, just press enter. It'll use your folder name. Select framework, use arrow keys to choose React or whatever you want. Select variant, choose JavaScript. Go into your project folder. Now type cd real estate website. Install all dependencies. Now type this to install. npm install. Leave some time. Install Bootstrap. Now type npm install Bootstrap. Go to src folder. Inside your project, open the src folder. Find the file named main.jsx. Clear everything. Select all the code inside main.jsx and delete it. Now type this code. This code is telling the browser what to do when the app starts. First, it imports React, which is the core library used to build user interfaces. Then, it loads your main component, app.jsx, which is where all your website content will go. Next, it applies your custom styling from index.css, so any personal styles you write will be included. And finally, it imports Bootstrap CSS, giving your website access to built-in styles like buttons, grids, and layouts, making everything look clean and professional without writing too much CSS. Now open app.jsx file. Clear everything inside it. Then type this, like now we are adding navbar component and a simple home. Then in src folder create components folder and inside it create navbar.jsx file. And a slow create styles folder in src and inside styles folder create navbar.css file. This file is a React component named navbar. It's responsible for showing the navigation bar at the top of your website. At the beginning, it imports React and also the link component from React Rotterdam, which helps in navigating between pages without reloading the whole website. Then it brings in Bootstrap CSS and JavaScript to give your navbar a responsive and styled appearance. There's also a custom CSS file being imported from your styles folder to add your own touch to the navbar. Inside the navbar function, you are returning a navigation by using Bootstrap classes. The navbar is dark themed with the class navbar dark bg dark, and it's set to expand on larger screens with navbar expandlg. The brand name on the left side of the navbar says Real Estate, and it links to the homepage. This is done using the link component, which ensures the app doesn't reload when you click it. Next comes the hamburger icon button. This only shows up on smaller screens. When clicked, it toggles the visibility of the navigation links by targeting the div with the ID navbar. That collapse navbar collapse justify content in div holds the menu items that appear on the right side of the navbar. Inside this, you have an unordered list with nav items. For now, you've added a few links: home, about, properties, and contact. Each of these uses the link component to point to different pages like about, properties, and contact. But for now, you mentioned only home is working. That's fine, because as you build out your website, the other pages will come together too. Finally, you export the navbar so you can include it in other components of your app, like app.js. This way, the navbar will show on every page, giving a consistent navigation experience to users. For now we added only home page. Next, rest of all we add later. So inside the index.css file, we start by targeting the body tag, which controls the main styling for the entire web page. First, we set the margin and padding to 0. This clears out the browser's default spacing around the page, giving us full control over layout and spacing. Then we use box sizing, border box, which makes sure that when we add padding or borders to elements, they stay within the defined width and height. This helps in keeping things neat and predictable. In the navbar.css file, the .navbar class is used to add padding inside the navbar, which helps in giving some space around the content. The .navbar brand class styles the brand name or logo of the website by increasing its font size and giving it a green color using #4CAF50, and when we hover over it, the color changes to a lighter green #66BB6 smoothly because of the transition effect. The .navbar_nav.navlink class is used to style the navigation links like home, about, properties, and contact. These links are given a white color with some horizontal spacing using margin, and when you hover over any link, the color changes to light green. The .navbar toggler class is for the hamburger menu icon that appears on small screens, and it adds a green border to that icon. Lastly, the .navbar toggler icon class changes the background color of the 3 lines in the toggle button to green and slightly rounds the edges to make it look better. Now in app.css file add background color. Earlier we didn't add Bootstrap. Now let's add it. Open your browser and go to bootstrap.com. Once the site opens, copy the CDN link they provide. Then open your navbar.jsx file and paste that link here. This will apply all Bootstrap styles to your project. Just follow along. Now you can see the output of our navbar. Now in Components folder create home.jsx file. And in Styles folder create home.css file. This React component is called Home, and it represents the main landing page of our real estate website. We start by importing React, the custom CSS file for the homepage, and Bootstrap so that we can use its styles throughout the component. At the top of the page, there's a section called the Hero section. It's just a big banner-like space with a welcoming message, "Welcome to Real Estate," and a short sentence below it that tells users they can rely on this platform to help them find their dream property. It's meant to immediately grab attention and make a good first impression. Alright. To add the home component to your app, you need to open the app.jsx file in your project. In this file, you'll import the home component so that it can be used within the app. And add a path to it in the browser router with a route path is equal to element is equal to home inside the routes component. In the property search section, a flexbox container is used to center the content. Inside, there's an input field with a placeholder, search properties by location, styled as a form control. The input field is wrapped with a div that has a max width of 400 px. Next to the input, there's a button, styled with Bootstrap's BTN warning classes. This button is used to trigger the search functionality. This section shows popular properties in a grid layout. Inside a container and row, we create the first column using kernel MD4. In that column, we add a card with an image of a luxury villa, a title, and its location as Beverly Hills. This completes the first property block design. To get all the 3 property images, just open your browser and search for a free image website like Pixabay. Once you are there, search for images like luxury villa, modern apartment, or beach house, or any property-related images you like. Download the ones that look good to you. After downloading, go to your React project and place those images inside the public folder. Make sure to rename them as 1.jpg, 2.jpg, and 3.jpg so they match the image paths used in your code. Now open your home.css file and start adding the styles to make your home page look neat and professional. First, we center everything and give some padding with the .home class and set a light background color. Then we style the hero section by limiting the width, centering it, and adjusting the heading and paragraph colors. After that, we style the search section by giving margin, padding for input and button, round corners, and hover effects. Finally, we style the popular properties section. It includes spacing, a clean white card design, hover scaling effect, and image sizing to make each property card look attractive. This About component shows the About Us page of the real estate website. Inside it, we use a main div with some spacing using Bootstrap classes like Container and My5 for margin. First, we show a heading, About Us, and a paragraph that introduces the company called Real Estate Pro, saying they help people buy, sell, and rent properties easily. Then there are 3 sections shown side by side using Bootstrap's grid, row and kernel MD4. The first one explains the vision of the company to be a trusted global agency. The second one tells the mission to provide quality service with transparency. The third one lists reasons why choose us, like expert agents, many properties, customer support, and a clear process. This is all designed using a clean layout so users can understand the company well. The body styling removes the default margins and sets a clean font for the whole page using Arial. The .about section adds padding inside and gives it a soft light gray background to separate it visually. Inside that, .about container makes the content stand out with a white background, smooth rounded corners, and a soft shadow effect. The heading inside it is centered with a little space below. The paragraph text is made slightly larger and uses a dark gray color for better readability. The feature card boxes also have wide backgrounds, padding, rounded edges, and a hover effect that makes them slightly zoom and glow to look nice when you move your mouse over them. The titles inside feature cards are green, and the list items have some spacing between them for clean presentation. Simple and neat design. Now in Components create properties.jsx file. And in Styles create properties.css file. This React component begins by importing the necessary CSS for styling. Inside the component, we create a container with the class properties to hold the section's content. The section starts with a heading or properties and is followed by a Bootstrap grid layout, row G4, to structure the property cards in a responsive way. Each property card is wrapped in a column with the class kernel 12 kernel MD4, ensuring the card takes full width on smaller screens and 1/3 width on larger screens. Inside each card, there is an image with the class carding top, followed by a card body that contains the property title, card location, card text, and a button, BTN primary, styled by Bootstrap. Finally, the component is exported to be used in other parts of the app, and the images are referenced from the public folder for display. Now you can see our output of our properties. This CSS starts by styling the H2 tag inside .properties. The heading is centered, has some space below it, 30px, and its text color is set to a blue shade. The .property card class is used for the property cards. The transition property is added to make the card's transformation smoother when it changes, like when you hover over it. It also has rounded corners, 10px, to give it a softer look. When you hover over the .property card, it scales up by 5%, makes the card slightly bigger, thanks to the transform, scale, 1.05 effect. This is achieved when the hover state is triggered, making the card pop out a bit for a nice interactive effect. For the images inside the .property card, the ink is set to a height of 200px, and object fit cover ensures the image covers the space properly without distorting. The image also has rounded top corners, 10px on the top left and top right, for a clean, stylish look. Lastly, the card body class adds padding, 15px, and centers the text inside the card to keep everything neat and aligned. Now go to your navbar.jsx file and add a new link called properties using navlink. Then, open your app.jsx and import the properties component at the top. Finally, add a new route path is equal to properties element is equal to properties inside the routes. Now create contact.jsx file inside components folder and contact.css file in styles folder. This code defines a React component called contact used to display a contact form. At the top, it imports React and the useState hook, although in this version of code it's not used, and also imports the CSS file to apply styles to the form layout. Inside the component, it returns JSX code. It starts with a div that has classes like contact, container, and my5, which applies spacing and layout using Bootstrap and custom styles. Then there's a heading saying, Contact Us, placed inside an h2 tag to show the form title clearly. The form elements are wrapped in divs with Bootstrap classes like kernel MD6 and kernel 12, which help arrange them nicely on the screen. First is a label that says, Name, followed by an input box for the user to type their name. The form control class makes the input look neat, and required ensures the field must be filled before submitting. Next is another section for email, working the same way with an input box that checks if the user types a valid email. Then comes the message box where the user can write their message. This uses a text area element that gives more space for text and is also required. Finally, there's a button labeled Submit with a BTN primary class that styles it with Bootstrap's blue button look. The button is of type Submit, which means when clicked, it will try to send the form data, though in this code, no function is connected to handle the submit yet. Inside it, we are using React's useState to make a variable called successMessage, which is used to store a short success message after someone submits the form. At first, this message is empty. Then there's a function called handleSubmit, which is triggered when the form is submitted. It stops the page from refreshing using e.preventDefault, then sets a message saying, Message sent successfully, in the successMessage variable. After that, setTimeout clears this message after 3 seconds so it disappears from the screen automatically. Then, inside the JSX, there's a condition, successMessage and div class name is equal to alert success, successMessage, div. This checks if the message is not empty, and if it's there, it shows it in a styled green alert box. Finally, the form tag starts, and it says onSubmit is equal to handleSubmit, which means this form will use the handleSubmit function when someone clicks the submit button. The class, Roji3, is just for Bootstrap spacing and grid layout to keep everything nicely spaced. This CSS is styling the contact section of your page. First, .contact adds some space inside the whole contact box using padding, 30px, gives it a soft gray background color, and rounds the corners with border radius, 10px to make it look smooth. Then the style for .contact h2 controls the heading inside the contact section. It adds a little space below the heading with margin bottom, 20px, and changes the text color to a nice blue, #007 BFF, to match Bootstrap's main color theme. Next, the .contact label path styles the labels like name, email, and message. It makes the text bold and gives a small gap at the bottom for spacing. The inputs and text areas used for typing are styled together. They're given a bit of space below each one, margin bottom, 15px, and soft rounded corners, border radius, 5px, to look more modern and clean. Then comes the styling for the submit button. It's given a solid blue background, #007 BFF, and white text so it stands out. There's also a transition added so that the background color smoothly changes when hovered. Finally, when you hover the mouse over the button, the color changes to a darker blue, #0056B3, to show it's clickable, making the experience feel more interactive. This is our basic and beginner-friendly website project designed to help anyone start learning React and web development with clean structure and styling. I've shared the full source code for this project on my GitHub, and you can get it completely free from the link provided in the description below. Feel free to explore it, learn from it, and build on top of it.